All right. So hello, everyone. I am Moushumi Ghose. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, sex therapist, and I'm based in Los Angeles, California. Today, I am going to talk to you a little bit about sexual wellness, sexual health, basically, during COVID, but also and beyond, because, you know, we want our sexual health to extend out. And it's an interesting time because we really get to, with COVID happening, we really get to sort of like turn inward on our sexuality because we can't have sex with strangers basically at this time. I mean, we can do whatever we want, but we run the risk of getting a life-threatening illness if we do something like that. So I'm going to start with kind of the COVID basics around sex, which a lot of you may already know. If you have any questions about it, feel free to type them in the chat and I will try to answer them as best as I can. But what we do know about COVID is that it is transferred via the saliva. It's a respiratory disease. So if someone coughs at you, if someone sneezes at you, if you kiss someone and they have been exposed to the virus or are carrying the virus or have been infected with the virus, they can spread it to you. If you are within 6 feet. If you are beyond 6 feet and someone sneezes, the likelihood decreases as you keep your distance. So that's why they've put this sort of like 6 feet distancing thing in place, so that it doesn't spread. The other thing about COVID is that because it can come out when people cough, it's respiratory. If you touch something, even a coffee cup that somebody touched shortly after they've coughed on it or even touched it, because what can come through our pores, right? You could potentially get it. Now they say it's not likely if you just hold the cup, but if you take the cup, you're holding it and it's on your hands and you touch your face, you're more likely to get it because your face is where your lips are, your eyes, and that's where it can get into your lungs, into your respiratory area. So that's why kissing is completely off the table. Now, if kissing is off the table, it really sort of means that most sex should be off the table. Now, there isn't a lot of evidence. I just looked it up this morning on Planned Parenthood's website, as well as Harvard Medical, and they're saying that they're not 100% sure if it can be transmitted through vaginal fluids or semen. It definitely can be transmitted through fecal matter, so anal sex is out. Intercourse is questionable. The thing with intercourse is like you still have to be within 6 feet of someone. Then the chances of you sort of spreading saliva to someone during intercourse is really high. So how are you going to have intercourse without having other contact? It's almost virtually impossible. Sure, you can wear like a full-on latex bodysuit and try that, but you know, you're at your own risk at that point. And again, I'm talking about if you're doing it with somebody that you're not living with at the time. So if you're living with someone, you obviously and if you're living with someone, you can have sex with them. You're already sharing a household. If they have it, the likelihood of you getting it is much higher. Now, if your partner works in healthcare or some sort of essential service where they're in contact with the general public or potentially higher risk for getting COVID, and you live with them, you have a few options. Option number one is they come home, they take a bath, they wash their clothes before talking to you and touching you. But if they've come into contact with somebody that has COVID, the likelihood of you getting it is highly increased. So what a lot of health workers are doing is they are quarantining themselves at home from their loved ones to try to avoid spreading it to them, again, keeping 6 feet distance. Now, that's not always possible. So you really have to have the conversation with your partner, what their exposure level is, what your risk is. The bottom line is during COVID is you have to protect yourself. If for some reason you don't feel safe around something or you're not sure 100%, you can always quarantine yourself. You can stay in a room by yourself and not touch someone else. It's really your call during COVID. But the main thing is avoiding having relations with new people. One of the things I did want to talk about today is online dating, because that is still something that is available to us. We are, and a lot of people are sort of like quarantined by themselves, so they need human contact, and it's nice to have flirtations. It's nice to communicate with people. Online dating websites are a great place to meet people kind of all over the world and be sexual with them online, of course. Sexting, talking dirty, getting all dressed up in costumes, role play, mutual masturbation, acting out, scenes with sex toys and things like that. All really great and fun stuff that you can do online. One thing that I have heard, though, is people aren't being that cautious. In fact, people are trying to like persuade people to go and meet them in person and to hook up and have sex. Again, obviously it's up to you. It's your life. You can do what you want. It is not recommended that you do that. In fact, you need to stop doing that if you want to remain safe. So avoid those people at all costs. They don't have your best interest in mind. They just want to hook up, get off. Look, you never know. It could be fine, but do you want to put yourself at that risk? It's kind of like safe sex. A lot of people preach safe sex. Everybody talks about wearing a condom, and getting tested and all of these things. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, we hear about a lot of people not practicing safe sex. And the same sort of thing is happening with COVID. People are getting online, wanting to talk to people. There's this sort of new freedom because there's no expectation. You're never going to have to necessarily meet these people, at least maybe not until 2021. And so you kind of get to explore all of the sexuality, which in our society and in our culture up until now has been really taboo, right? Like, people have not been encouraged to talk dirty. People aren't necessarily encouraged to put on some sexy costume online and carry on and have these relationships, because they're not real, right? They're not real because they're virtual. Well, now guess what? They are real and you get to do it. And so people that don't have a repertoire beyond going to a bar or meeting someone in person and hooking up with them are actually being sort of forced to develop this other side of their sexuality and learn to talk dirty, express themselves in a sexual way that they've never had to or been able to express themselves before. So it's a really great time to sort of learn how to do that. But in that realm, it sounds like there are a lot of perpetrators, for lack of a better word, who are trying to get you to come out and meet them in person. So protect yourself. Don't do that. There's so many great things you can do. We can get into that next if you would like. I do see a question. Okay, so someone is asking, will you please touch on the fact that StreamMate is firing cam models in California? Those of us who were independent contractors now are employees. With COVID, sales are down. StreamMate is using this slowdown to fire us. I've been a cam girl with them for 10 years. I'm extremely stressed because this is my only income. I feel my immune system is compromised because of the stress. Please advise. So I'm not familiar with StreamMate. Yes, I think a lot of businesses are struggling, and so they're letting people go. Is there a possible way for you to do what you do on a different website? What about I guess what I'm curious is, what about your fans or your customers, your clients that you have through StreamMate? Is there some way of getting in touch with them to let them know that you are maybe going to work from home? I mean, work like sort of on your own. Yeah, How many guys still contact? People aren't taking it that seriously. Sorry, I'm just sort of jumping around. I kind of want to finish talking about the stream mate question. I know there are other sites where you're sort of like an independent contractor. Other sites are dead. Okay, interesting. I was under the impression that you could cam from various different sites. Maybe I was wrong. So yeah, that's terrible that they don't hire you. What sites are still open? Does anybody know? I feel like right now is a great time to be online and to sell your services and, you know, do a lot of camming. Camming feels like a really great way to connect with people. So I wonder if you could have your own website and then do it on Skype or something like that and have your own fans. Is there, yeah, OnlyFans. I've heard of Chatterbait. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's so, you know, I think getting online to make your money on cam can be a great way to do it. It feels like there are a lot of websites on there. So anyway, it looks like you are all chatting about that. So kind of going back to online dating, you know, I'm a huge fan of mutual masturbation. Mutual masturbation too, with a partner that lives at home that may be exposed to the virus, can also be an excellent way to connect with them if you're concerned that they might expose you, or you're feeling a little bit, you know, self-conscious or germophobic. I tend to be germophobic. I don't feel comfortable necessarily right now, especially. Mutual masturbation is a great way to connect with your partner. Mutual masturbation is also obviously a great way to connect with people online. So let's see. Yeah, it sounds like one of the main questions that are coming up for people are how to make money online. Does anyone have any questions about online dating? My main concern is that all these people are trying to hook up and potentially trying to get you out of your house so that, you know, you can make money. And I know that that can be really tempting, but I really just want to drive home the fact that we're here in California, we're on lockdown potentially till the end of summer. So I don't know where everybody is, but this disease could potentially mutate. It sounds like there are new strains potentially being created from COVID, which means that even if you test positive for the antibodies, that doesn't mean you can't get reinfected. So really, really, really my main thing to impart to you is your health is more important. I know that a lot of people are struggling with money, and if you can get online, and the conversation that's happening right now in the chat room is on how to create content, become a cam person, get online and start building your fan base that way. You can make money that way. And this kind of career will carry you in the event that COVID continues to become a problem in the future. You know, we were supposed to be locked down for 2 months in California, and then now all of a sudden it's for another two to 3 months. So, and then most of the literature out there from medical professionals does say that there's very likely going to be a second sort of wave of the disease, probably after the summer. So I think many health officials are trying to keep it contained over the summer, maybe to prevent that outbreak again that's expected to happen in the fall. But I want to prepare you, and I want you to prepare yourself for the inevitability that we might be on lockdown again. And so if this happens again, how are you going to protect yourself? How are you going to make money getting online is going to be one of your best bets. If you have the opportunity to do that right now, take some time, build your profiles, whatever you need to do to get your fan base up, from shifting from a face-to-face model, shifting from, doing adult movies to, having your own profile, having your own fan base where you can make money by yourself. It says, assuming, the lockdown has the men discovering the wonderful world of cam girls. And look, it's the safest thing right now. Camming is probably the best thing that you can do, preparing yourself for the long haul. Assuming a scenario where lockdown is loosened, people can meet again, studios film again, and sex workers can meet clients, what are specific techniques to lower risk? So obviously you can lower risk by getting tested. The antibodies test is out here in California, so most people can get access to it. It's not super cheap. I'm not exactly sure how people are accessing it, if you have insurance and whatnot, how all of that works. The Washington Post just posted an article. There is soon to be a saliva test, which is just you spit it and you find out if you have the antibodies. Again, I want to caution you, there's a lot of research that suggests that the virus is going to mutate. So having the antibodies won't necessarily protect you right away, protect you from getting reinfected again. What about wearing full latex bodysuits though? I mean, I'm not kidding. What about wearing like face masks and making them like those big giant gas masks and making them sexy and having sex like that? It looks corny, it looks cheesy, but it's a life or death situation out there. There is an actual pandemic happening. So I like those ideas. If things are loosened, because they're going to get loosened. It's getting to be summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's warming up. People want to be outside. People want to see their friends. People want to go to the swimming pool. People want to go to the beach. And there's going to be more and more people around, and they're not going to be able to control everybody. So protect yourself. Wear a mask when you can. Somebody sort of gave me this like metaphor or analogy for the mask, and it was like, if someone pees on you, or if someone's peeing on the sidewalk and you're naked and they're naked, you're going to get wet, right? You're going to get their pee on you, their urine on you. If that person is peeing on the sidewalk and you're wearing pants, you're not going to get as wet. If that person is wearing pants and peeing on the sidewalk and you're wearing pants, you're probably not going to get touched at all. Wear your mask at all times. Remember that scenario. Something can touch you if you're not wearing your mask. If this place isn't protected, even sunglasses can help because they can get into your eyes. Wearing a sunglass, wearing a mask, wearing one of those like gas masks, if you're going to go out and have sex with somebody or you're going to be on set, ask your director if you can wear a gas mask on camera. I have a feeling that we are going to start seeing more and more this type of movies, films, I hope, because we need to lower the risk. Hopefully eventually we're going to have a vaccine. So this is only until that vaccine comes around. Right now, medical officials are working on a vaccine faster than ever that we've ever known. There is a lot of evidence that we're going to have a vaccine by the end of this year. That's not a long time to wait. In the larger scheme of things, if you can stay indoors until that vaccine comes out, you're better off. If you can build your camming audience, start making money online, figure out how to make money online. We live in a completely different time right now. You can do your work online. You don't have to touch anyone. You can have all of these types of sexual relations with clients, with partners from behind your screen until this thing ends. And this isn't gonna last forever. So if you can just hang tight and just remember that without your health, you're no use to us, right? We're no good. We're no good unless we're healthy and alive. So try to remember that. All right, let me see if what else I've touched. Let me know what other questions you have. Yeah, I'm just looking over the notes that I took from Planned Parenthood. The safest sexual partners are people who already live with you. It's best not to have close contact with anybody outside your home if you can. Obviously, condoms and dental dams. Dental dams are great. I'm a huge fan of dental dams. Let's try to use those more. Oh, we do have a Q&A. I'll look at it. Here we go. Okay, my escort services are mainly girlfriend experience. Yeah, that's a big one. So kissing and touching is a big thing, but there are so many sources of information about COVID and some completely contradict each other. Who would you advise putting our trust in? UK government doesn't make me feel that safe. I'm not familiar with UK government, but I think the reliable source for me here in the United States is certainly Planned Parenthood. You can just go to plannedparenthood.org and they have a lot of information on there. The other one is the Washington Post. The Washington Post is probably the best news source in the United States. And then the second would be the New York Times. Those are fairly good. So let's see, what other questions do you have? I'm ready to answer questions. I was going to talk a little bit more about how to have fun dating online, but it feels like more people are curious about how to continue working during this time. So I'm happy to answer any more questions that you have around that. All right, well, I will continue talking then. So one of the things that I've been talking with my clients about, and a lot of my clients are, I would just say, sexually inexperienced, for lack of a better word. And I think that for them, this is like so many people just go into sex, like penis and vagina. Let's just do some penis and vagina. And now we're in a relationship. Well, this is changing all of that. And I think it's changing it for the better for a lot of people who don't really know much about sex, but penis and vagina. Like that's all they do, or they give each other oral once in a while and maybe some heavy petting. And that's what they call a sexual relationship. There's so much more to a sexual relationship, as most of you know. And this is an opportunity for people in the world to learn how to be sexual without this end goal of consummating a relationship. This is the first time in a really long time that people have actually been given permission to have sex, obviously consensual online sex, with people that they don't really know, without there needing to be an end goal of relationship. So for me, as a therapist that works with a lot of like couples and or individuals who are trying to date, but don't have a lot of understanding about sexuality, this has opened the door for them to really explore their sexuality without the pressure of it needing to be goal-oriented, right? Relationship, penis and vagina intercourse, any sort of physical sex. Like you don't get to have those. So you have to now have relationships in a completely different way. So I think it's shifted the landscape, and I think it's going to continue to shift the landscape for people and how they express themselves sexually. And I think that as sex workers, for you, this is actually a great opportunity to help people develop that repertoire, develop that language. What better place to get a sex education than by coming to see one of any of you? It feels like if you can get online you know, I'm going to just sort of like talk about my practice, because I have a lot of therapists that work for me and we're all online. And we're not actively engaging in sexual relationships with our clients, and you get to do that. So you get to actually teach them things, teach them how to talk dirty, teach them how to engage in some, you know, sexy role play, show them what it means to do mutual masturbation in a sexy, consensual, healthy way. So this is actually an opportunity, I think, for a lot of sex workers who, if you want, obviously you don't have to begin educating as well, because at the end of the day, you are sex educators. You are better sex educators than most sex therapists are, because you're actually engaged with the client in a way that therapists don't get a chance to do. So I'm just throwing that out there. I think that could be a really lucrative way for people to make money if they aren't doing that already. And many of you probably are already educating your clients. But letting people know, letting your clients know that you're going to teach them how, maybe doing a mutual masturbation class, or, you know, teaching them how to, you know, BDSM role play. I don't know what your specialties are, what you enjoy doing, but clients need that. A lot of my clients need that. They need to know they need that education. And this is a ripe opportunity for us to shift our thinking, shift our business plans into ways that's really going to help society, because society is really stuck in the dark when it comes to sex, and people are scrambling right now. They're alone. They're involuntarily celibate. I work with a lot of non-monogamous couples that are now forced into monogamy, and people need that outlet. They need you. People need sex, people need intimacy, people need connection, people need to know the language that they need to use to talk about people around sex. People need to know how to engage in consent, and how to ask for consent, how to give consent. And it really feels like a lot of you are the best place for people to go. So if you can really start shifting your escorting businesses to camming, and offering some of these services, I think that you would do really well. Any questions? Leah, do you have anything else that you want me to talk about? Oh, you know what I also wanted to talk about is right now, if you're not feeling sexual, that's okay too. I think it's very important to say that we don't always want to be engaged in sex. And right now, you can't really go out and have sex with people that aren't your own partner that's living at home with you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you want to let your pubic hairs just grow wild, let them grow. You know what I mean? Even if you are having, doing stuff with clients online, and you feel like letting your pubic hairs just grow wild, go for it. Try it. This might be the opportunity to try something new in that aspect. If there's something that you hate, that you're always having to go, get waxed. I don't know why I keep using pubic hair, because I wrote that one down, but this might be a good time to explore some of the ways. Maybe you put on a little bit of weight. Maybe you want to explore different ways of presenting your body. You tried it. You tried gaining weight, or you tried growing your pubes out. If you need to take some time off too, take the time off. I know that a lot of people are struggling with finances, and it's hard to relax and not worry about money when there's no money coming in. But taking some time off actually supports money, because it helps us sort of like get aligned with what we really want to do, what kind of goals, what aspects of the work really align with us. Maybe you really want to do this type of webcamming, or maybe you want to offer this type of online service. So taking some time off. I love taking hot baths in Epsom salt, because Epsom salt actually has negative ions. So a lot of the stress that we feel, Epsom salt can actually de-stress you. And when you're de-stressed, that's when you're your most creative. That's when you come up with these really great ideas. So part of our sexual wellness and our business practices is doing self-care around just relaxing and not doing anything and trying not to stress about money, where the next dollar is going to come from. US dollars, we talk. I really love the idea of educating consumers on non-touch sex during this time. I love that idea. I think that sex workers are on the front line of that. Like, really, truly, you have the most experience. You have the most credibility. If anyone can really, truly talk about, non-touch sex, non-touch sex is huge. We're talking about girlfriend experience. And you could bring your, I'm sure some of you've already done this. You can bring your camera into the bathroom with you while you take a bath, be naked while you cook breakfast. You can do the girlfriend experience online as well. So we really have to right now shift our thinking, because if we want to survive as the human species, if we want to survive, we need to. People are not going to survive this pandemic if they aren't careful. So any questions that anyone has around that, I'm happy to talk about. I can give you information about clients, because my clients are not very sexual. So they come to me because they're struggling with sex. They come to me because they don't have the tools around sexuality. So someone like yourself can offer a service that, is more hands-on, on video.
So I'm gonna ask some questions, because everyone's being a little bit quiet, and I'm going to have to be a little bit candid, because this is currently streaming live on my private Facebook.
Is it on your private Facebook?
Well, it's streaming on the Pineapple Support one, and I'm sharing it on mine. So I've heard some great ideas from people who are, and I know it's quite an old idea, but it's like the Big Brother type thing, where the cameras are up in their houses. Because right now I think there's a lot of people who feel very isolated, and seeing somebody else live their lives, particularly if it's in a kind of sexual manner, is a really great way to start marketing at the moment. Because it's one thing to set aside a bit of time for one-on-one with someone that's doing live cam, but to just be able to, I don't know, this is a big kind of imposition on your own life to have cameras set up, but of course you can switch them off, and you can only have them in certain rooms if you want. But I think it really gives consumers a very kind of intimate experience, and one that maybe that they are needing during this time. And like as you're saying, just doing the washing up or cooking with your lingerie on, why not stream that and make some money from it? And
people love that. People need that. That's why the girlfriend experience is so popular, because people want the real life aspect of it.
Exactly.
I love that idea. Great idea.
No, that was a friend of mine that started doing that, and I thought, how fantastic, a very, very good way to pick up on what's happening at the moment. So, what can I say while I'm on a platform where my parents could be watching?
I mean, here's the thing. We're in a time right now where it's okay. It's okay to do those things. We can't go out and do them with each other, right? You can't have people come to your place of business or to your home or wherever you see clients and do those things. You get to do it in the comfort and privacy of your own home. You can turn those cameras off when it's time to turn the cameras off. If you have partners that live with you, let them know, like, hey, between, these hours, I'm going to be, doing just some regular household stuff in my lingerie with the cameras on. So
We've
know.
seen, there's still a lot of people who are living together that are shooting together.
Mm,
And there's this, it's obviously a great way to make money if you are living together as a couple, or if you're isolated together and you're in the industry. But there are a lot of people that aren't in that position. They've started webcamming, but they don't have a fan base based on webcamming, and they're in a position where they are really struggling to make money, because it takes months, it takes years to amount of
build
time
up the fan base.
to build
Yeah.
a fan base, and transferring your fans from one platform to another is hard. The people watching, when talking about moving from StreamMate to another platform, even that is tough when you've got your fan base on another platform. Yes, Twitter is. I mean, without Twitter, where would we be? It's one of the only platforms that still allows sex workers to promote no facials, but otherwise we're good. But it's not an overnight thing, and OnlyFans. I've seen a lot of people using OnlyFans. I don't know how fast that was. Kind of before my time, when I was performer, it was just starting. I don't know how easy it is to pick up a fan base on there.
Right. It might have to build it for years. There's a strip club in Portland that you may have seen. They're doing like drive-through. So the cars drive through, the girls are dancing on the sides, and then also like they can order food. So they do a food, exchange with everyone's wearing gloves and masks.
Do you think it's possible to have safe sex during this time, or in your opinion? And I know.
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, if it's your partner, you just don't know who people are coming into contact with. So one of the tricky things about this virus is that you can be a carrier of it and have no symptoms, right? So, even if the person's like, well, I haven't seen anyone for 2 weeks, I have no symptoms, you might be okay, right? But the more we loosen up our boundaries around it, the more we increase our chances of potentially getting exposed to somebody who's been exposed to somebody who's been exposed to somebody.
I know people also from going to the grocery store. So if you can catch,
I'm sorry, you broke up there a little bit, Leah.
I know people who've caught it from going to a grocery
Is
store.
that my
No,
computer? It said my internet connection was unstable. But you were saying something about the grocery store?
My friends catch from a grocery store, and you think if you can catch it from going to a grocery store when you're, having that one-on-one contact with somebody, it's got to be heavy.
Yeah, there was a grocery store in LA, a very popular one on Sunset Boulevard, and so many people got sick from that grocery store. Yeah. So it's, it's dangerous. You can get it from, and people at grocery stores have gloves on, they've got their masks on, they might be behind a shield, and you can still, if you're not careful, you can still get it.
Well, for anyone that's suffering from high anxiety, you were saying that you personally are a germaphobe. What advice can you give to those people? Because it is hard, I'm so blessed living on a very quiet island. It's not quiet summer, but in the winter now, when there's only residents, there's very few people here. But I'm lucky because I have a garden. My mum's here, she's high risk, so I'm having to go out and do the shopping and so on and so forth. But I have friends here that are, locked away in little apartments, and being locked in that apartment and not being around people for so long, you get more paranoid, I think, and it get, you know, it builds up. What kind of advice do you
Mhm.
in that position?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly builds on itself for sure. What you can do is find times where the grocery stores aren't as busy. So, for example, if here, grocery stores are virtually empty between like 10 and 11:30 a.m. The other time that they're virtually empty is like this window between like 2 and 4 p.m. You know, so lunch hours get busy, early mornings are busy, lunch hours are busy, and then after work is busier, you know. So you'll have a little bit more freedom during those times, buy more, and then so you don't have to go as often. Um, the other thing is we have services like Instacart, which is like they basically go to any grocery store and bring you food. It's kind of like a food delivery service, but for grocery stores. So we use those. And they do no contact delivery. So they'll just drop it off outside your building, outside your house, wherever, and you just go down and pick it up. Once you get upstairs or once you get back into your house, keeping your mask on, keeping gloves on, putting all the food away in the refrigerator, getting rid of the bags, and then taking everything off and washing your hands really well, and or taking a shower if you're a germaphobe like myself. Um, it's a lot more extra work, but it's, you know, it'll make you feel better and it'll probably work. If you haven't had contact with somebody, if you've been wearing your mask the entire time. I wear sunglasses too when I'm out and about, big ones, because they actually protect too, because you can get it through your eyes.
And when when socializing is allowed again, I know I know a lot of people feel pressured, and it's the same now. You know, you can feel very pressured as a sex worker to meet with people. You can feel very pressured because of money issues to join people on set. Um, finding those boundaries, I think, is very important. And how to address those boundaries without feeling like you're being rude, I think is where I'm getting at. You know, if you feel like you're being pressured, or even when, you know, socializing is allowed again, how do you approach somebody to say that you're not comfortable with the situation, without feeling rude?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, it's important to recognize, like, it's hard to say no to money, right? Sometimes if someone's offering you a lot of money, it's going to be hard to say no to that. But the other thing is, there are so many reasons that you may not be able to. Your client doesn't know whether you've been exposed or not, you know, and you can always say that, well, I just don't want to put you in a dangerous situation, right? Because I don't know if I've been exposed, you know, my partner is a healthcare worker, or I've been going to the grocery store a lot. I may have it and I don't want to spread it to anybody. That's always one way to say it. The other thing is, you can always let people know that that maybe your immune system is not as great, and so you could potentially get sick. You're maybe in a higher risk group. Um, the other thing is, you can also always tell people that you've made a decision and you're not going to actually be seeing people face to face until 2021. You know, I'm just taking this year off. I'm going to be online. So if you want to come and meet up with me online, I'll be there. Give them like an alternative to meeting with you in person.
Yeah.
We can also, the other alternative you can say is like, hey, let's make a date for somewhere out in the future.
And I saw a neighbor of mine, and as I arrived at their house, they said, "I'm not hugging you. This is my decision." I was like, okay.
Yeah. You like the words, it's my decision. It's not about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I quite liked. It was very one thing that I've learned a lot from Pineapple Support and speaking to, and having more friends that are therapists now, is that it's okay to say I don't want something. which I think is great. You know, I think as a kind of people pleaser, you kind of like, oh, okay, but you know, I'm just going to go to the toilet and never come back.
Yeah.
But to have that, to say something, oh, it's my decision. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling this. I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable with touching you right now. This is my decision.
Mhm.
And I found that really, really empowering for my friend. If that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a really great way to put it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure online. I know that a lot of clients pressure will push you to, oh, just, do this, just do this. So I know that most of you have really probably have been working very hard to maintain your boundaries. And right now you get to sort of exercise that even more. It's really about, it's your choice. If you want to, not do any face-to-face contact, live sex work until January, that's fine. That's what you can say. That's your business model.
We've had a couple more people join since we started having a little bit of a chat. Just wonder if anyone else has any questions they want to ask Mo, and anything that they've been experiencing during the past couple of months with lockdown and isolation and sexual boundaries, be that physical or otherwise.
You're enticing them to come ask a question.
I'm enticing with them. Shoulder dance. Come on. The stories.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing in their quarantine situations?
Yeah.
Busy, staying busy, working, not working? Everyone's being so quiet today. Yeah, I was also talking about growing out your pubic hair, and you said I tried it.
So I decided that I've never had hairy armpits in my life. I've always shaved my armpits because it's what you do. I'm in
That's
quarantine.
what you do.
I'm going to grow them, and it lasted about 2 weeks. I was
Yeah.
sending almost daily photographs to a couple of my friends.
Well, what about other things like getting your hair done? Like a lot of people get like, like I have gray roots and I've just parted my hair on the other side so you can't see it as well. But I'm like, I'm gonna let my gray roots start to show. What can I do?
So someone said I had to rent a flat, and this you're not the first that said this. Because children, and that's got to be hard having kids around when
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
we say it's great that we work in an online industry, but that's only relevant if you haven't got flatmates, children. Even one of my girlfriends who films with her partner and she makes clips. She wants to start webcamming, but talking live to a client while her husband is in the next room, it's going to be weird. So yeah, I really get that having to.
Yeah. It's if you have kids, it can make any type of working from home tricky, right? Um, I have a therapist that has kids, and she sometimes has to go into the office to do the teletherapy, telehealth to get away from the kids. So
So, so I'm pretending to be 6 years younger, so you can't have
you
roots.
can't have roots. What are you doing? How do you do it?
You're going for the home dye.
You're with the home dye, but then you have to go to the store to get the home dye.
um, okay, so you've always been hairy. That's interesting. I found it so. It's just what you're used to, isn't it? I found it so strange. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, do it. Get it off. See what it's like. Just give. It's so good to just, yeah, as you were saying earlier, to use this time to experiment and try new things.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't like it, you can always go back to the way you were doing it before. If you like it, maybe you learn something new about yourself, something easier and more fun.
Um, used to be if you're a therapist, not working at the moment, in a transition period anyway. Surrounded by other people, and it's hard to get privacy. Yes, my mum is here. Um, we she was here looking after the animals for my house when I was traveling, and then lockdown happened, and there's no way for her to go back to the UK with the dog. And also, the UK is not a very, it's not handling the situation very well, in my opinion. Um, hard to get, yeah, I completely understand. It's hard to get privacy. And what do you do in that situation? It's, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are masturbate in the bathroom. Yes.
And I don't usually sleep with my door open, so now I'm having to close the door. Sorry, I used to keep my door open. Now I'm having to close the door and kind of guess when maybe it's,
Well,
because I use power
the,
tools. This is
the
live.
bathroom is sometimes the only private place that people have in their house, right? It's the only place they can, and you can't be in the bathroom forever because other people need to use it. Why have you been in the bathroom for 4 hours, Mom?
Yeah, bathroom with the shower on.
Yeah.
Would have been
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges right now with if are living with a lot of people, and use this time, try to see the silver lining in what's happening in this time. Use this time, like if you're stuck in your house with your family, do more I took a deep breath. I'm like, oh Lord, but do more family things. Like I often tell my clients to make gratitude lists, the things they're grateful for. Like, I'm grateful for seeing my daughter, or my mom, or whoever every day. First time in a long time that you've been able to see them like this. And pandemic's not going to go on forever. It feels really hard now, but this too shall pass. Just remember that. Like, if you're stuck inside with your family members, with your kids, number one, those kids are not going to be this age forever. They're going to grow up eventually, and appreciate this time with them as much as you can. We've sort of been given a gift if we choose to look at it that way. It may not feel like a gift. It may be the most stressful thing you've ever experienced. Trying to shift our mentality around it can really, really help us. So making gratitude lists daily, like 5 things that you're grateful about, write it down in the morning whenever you have some time, if you're feeling a lot of stress. But 2 teens, wow. That's a lot. Well, they won't be teenagers forever. So there's that.
I feel like it at the moment.
Yeah. Teenagers are the worst. I feel you. They're so, they're teenagers are trying to find their own identity. So they don't want to do anything that their parents tell them. They're just like, and a lot of times just contrary to anything that their parents tell them to do or be. They're just trying to develop their own identity. Teens, in a lot of ways, are adults, right? In our society, we treat them as children, but they're not children. They're mini adults. So they need a little bit of your support, but they need a lot of freedom to develop their identities.
Does anyone watching have any tips they want to share with anybody else before we look at wrapping things up? Because I think it'd be a great way to spread some love.
Yeah, tell us.
Everyone.
Has anybody been trying mutual masturbation with their partner, even in the same room? Oh, what about one thing that I talk about with a lot of my clients is new sort of porn that they've discovered. Any new porn that they've discovered? The retweet groups on Twitter have definitely helped Sam gain more fans. So yeah, Twitter's great. if you have time and you're going to create like an OnlyFans page or Chatterbait or something, just create that and then keep tweeting it.
How do people find the retweet groups? Is there a hashtag, or can you let people know your Twitter handle so that they might be able to find you and feel you can recommend some?
Sam says, I'm a BBW, so for me, I searched that. So maybe searching different types, styles. Yeah, are they hashtags? Happy to help. So anyone wants to tweet Sam, it's Sadie @_SSBBW. And then someone wrote, we watched a baking show and that was weirdly sexual, another learning process. That's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, you
Kneading that dough.
kneading that dough. All right, great. So Twitter it is. Twitter is great. One of the girls in my group is doing naked knitting and is making loads. Ooh. Again, like it's that BBW, the GFE, the girlfriend experience that is, people love it. People want to see you in your environment. Guess what? You're in your environment now for a while. So get naked, cook, bake some zucchini bread in your sexiest lingerie with your kitty mask on. The other thing too is, and this isn't, I think that like you can wear masks, you can get creative with masks too right now. So if you are doing, I like the putting cams in your house idea, and that's cool. And wearing different sexy outfits and experimenting with sexy masks.
I wonder if the beeping was me or you there. Nothing.
I think that's here. I think it's outside here.
I think we've had some great ideas. I mean, the searching for the reach fantastic, and the Sadie _SSW has said that they can help with connecting people that way. It's fantastic. And trying the fan sites. 76 fans in the subscribers in the first 76 fans in the first month. That's amazing. That's really amazing, and it just shows how quickly you can grow that fan base, which is wonderful. So the Twitter retweet group, as far as I am aware, are, I think they're chat groups on Twitter. You can ask to join them, where you can post what you would like to be retweeted, and everyone in that group will retweet it for you. That's my understanding. I don't know if Sadie wants to expand that.
And Sadie did offer her Twitter handle. If you want to reach out to Sadie, it's @Sadie. I'll type it in again. _SSBBW.
You retweet the last 24 hours of other people's posts, and then you can post yours. Oh, it's a really nice. I love how many people are supporting others within the community at the moment. I mean, there was someone that they tagged us in the post that the first 10 people or 20 people they were going to give them $5. Now it's a small amount, but for that person to give a little bit, it's just so wonderful. I've seen a lot of this, people who are making more money offering to donate, gift other performers that amount. It's been really deep to support within the community.
Wow. So it sounds like Sam, you need to do a webinar. She had 86 followers on February 14th and now has over 900. That's great. That's amazing.
And I know a lot of people that have been working damn hard for longer than that, and they don't have that many. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, the online sex workers are coming together as a beautiful community. That's great.
I mean, I don't know, while everyone's on here, if anyone wants to drop their Twitter handles so you can all keep in touch. This is as far as I'm aware, I know that the chat is not going to be recorded, so I'll if you guys all want to swap Twitter handles so you can keep in touch, then go for it.
Yeah, share your Twitter handles. It's great that the community is coming together. That's awesome. Yeah, I think the main thing is to just try to open your mind to the different opportunities that this time could bring. It's also a great time to shift your thinking to having an online model as well as your in-person model, business model. As business people, I think the world is changing. This is a really good example of how that the world is changing, and people that have online presence right now are sort of hitting the ground running. And so be prepared for the next one, be prepared for the future. Now's the time to get online. Oh, I'll type in mine. Mine's a little difficult.
Well, unless anyone has any questions, must be tempting with my shoulders again.
Dancing is really great way too. Dance around your house. It's a great way to
lap
dancing, yeah. Lap dance on your teddy bear. Give your teddy bear a lap dance. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Leah, for having me. Anyone feel free to tweet me if you have any questions about mental health or sexual wellness, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We also have therapists that work with Pineapple, so if you need therapy, contact Pineapple.
This is a really hard time for everybody, and not just on the topic of sexual health. If you are struggling in any way, please reach out. We've got a number of support groups, webinars, and we have the 27 online support system and also one-on-one therapy and coaching. We've also got on Monday, we are doing a webinar on depression, anxiety during isolation, and offering free one-on-one guided meditations. Because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can find the information about that on our Twitter. And next month, on June 2nd, for International Day, we are providing a online breathworks session, which is a great way to release tension, to release emotion, and really get the word's gone. The word's gone. It's too late here.
What time is it there?
It's 8 p.m. To get everybody and to get in tune with yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Bye for now.
Bye.